What are pre-exhaust and post-exhaust sets? Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and in this video I'm going to explain about the resistance training systems known as the pre and post-exhaust systems. Now, these systems are advanced systems that you can use with your clients and as part of your level 3 personal training qualification. But before we get going on the details of what this training system is, I just want to highlight that you can test your knowledge following today's content by literally scrolling down if you're on our blog, and you'll see 3 mock questions, or if you're not on our blog yet, just click the link and you will go straight there. So let's have a look at what these systems actually are. First of all, a training system is a group of variables, and inside the pre and post exhaust system, again, it's a group of variables with specific rules. Now, what this is like is it's very similar to a superset, whereby you've got 2 exercises back to back with no rest in between. Both exercises are targeting the exact same muscle, the same prime mover. However, one exercise is an isolation exercise, meaning it works one joint, whereas the other exercise has to be a compound exercise, aka a multi-joint exercise that's working more than one joint. Depending on the order of the exercises and how you position these 2 exercises will depend on whether it is a pre-exhaust or a post-exhaust system. So let's have a look at an example of a pre-exhaust. This is whereby you have the isolation exercise first, working the prime mover, and then you have the compound exercise, which works both the prime mover and the synergist. So an example might be doing a dumbbell pec fly, works the pecs, and then you go straight into a bench press, which works the pecs and the triceps. Now, the benefit of this is that you don't have any rest in between, which means that your pecs get double the amount of work, and these are the big prime mover. Whereas the synergist muscle, the smaller one, aka your triceps in this example, are much smaller, and therefore they only have the impact once. Now, if you think about that as an example, you've got pec fly, no rest, straight into bench press. It means that when you're finishing off the bench press, your pecs have had double the overload, your triceps have only had one lot of overload, so they should get to overload at the same time, which is the main benefit of doing a pre-exhaust system. Now let's flip it over and look at what a post-exhaust system is. It's basically the same, but the other way around. This one, you would have a compound exercise working both your prime mover, the big muscle, and your synergist, but you're now going to do the second exercise as the isolation. So an example of this for the quads could be that you start off with a leg press machine, works the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, but then you go on afterwards and do the leg extension machine as your isolation straight away after. Now, the benefit of this as a particular system is the same benefit in the fact that you get 2 exercises on the prime mover. They're the biggest muscle, they're the ones that are least likely to fatigue, so you target those twice, whereas the other smaller muscles are only targeted once. Now, the benefit here, if you think about doing a post-exhaust rather than a pre-exhaust, is that it's great if the compound exercise you're going to do is maybe a little bit more risky, or that you need more core stability for. So let's say that you're doing a deadlift as your big compound move. You want to make sure you've got really good core stability, that you're literally as fresh as you can be for that move because of the risk of injury associated, especially around the spine. So you do the deadlift first in the post-exhaust, and then you would go and do the isolation exercise afterwards. And if you're targeting glutes, for example, you might then go and do a kettlebell swing afterwards. Now, the benefit of this is that you're fresh and less likely to get the injury as a result of the riskier movement first. So that's the benefits of doing the difference between a pre and a post-exhaust. Now, the key rule to remember here is that you're targeting the same muscle, the same prime mover muscle, twice. Now, this is really important. It's not a group of muscles, and it's not opposite muscles, and it's not an area of the body. It's got to be the same prime mover twice. And the best way to do this is to always plan your compound movement first. So think, what is the compound movement that you want to work on? Then remind yourself, what is the prime mover in that compound movement? And then, do I know an isolation exercise that also works that same prime mover? For example, I could turn around and go, right, I want to do lat pull down as my compound exercise. What's the prime mover? Well, the lats are my prime mover, the latissimus dorsi. Do I know an isolation exercise that would work the lats? Well, I could do a straight arm pull down, I could do a pullover. So I go, right, I'm going to do a straight arm pull down on the cable as my isolation. Then I choose whether I want to do it as a pre-exhaust, where I do isolation first, or I choose it as a post-exhaust, where I do the isolation second. And that's the easiest way to plan your pre and post exhausts ready for your practical assessment if you're working towards your level 3 personal trainer, or with your clients as they're progressing through their plan. Another key thing to remember is that this is an intermediate training system. So your client should already have a good foundation of fitness. They should already have been doing basic sets, multiple sets, potentially even supersets before they get to a pre-exhaust component of their plan. And that's because there's a lot of overload going on and a lot of neural and muscular recruitment that we need to factor in. So really bear in mind that it's an intermediate system for them to do once they've already achieved some adaptations in their training. I'd love to hear from you and hear your comments and your suggestions and examples of what makes up a pre or a post exhaust. So what I'd like you to do is, in the comments box below this video, is to write in your example of a pre-exhaust or a post-exhaust and let me know what your prime mover is as part of that plan. And then alongside that, if you haven't already, make sure you check out the mock questions that are alongside this video inside the blog by scrolling down. And if you haven't already found our video all about supersets to understand exactly what they are, then you can click the link that is at the end of this video that will take you straight to our Understanding Supersets video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.